Welcome everybody to our heavy duty battery electric vehicle workshop. Thank you, Elian, for having us. We are here today to talk about Lion's vehicles, battery electric, the buses, the Class 8 transit buses, and I'm going to be speaking a little bit about infrastructure and some of the funding that SMAQMD is going to be hosting and helping you walk through. And then we will have a few speakers from Lion, and then wrap up for any questions. And then, of course, there is a lovely hosted lunch. So Christian Damkier was supposed to come today to talk about funding and infrastructure funding, and he had a scheduling conflict. So I am filling in for him, and we went over a few pointers about what SMAQMD is going to be offering. So for those of you that are familiar with CCAT, SMAQMD helps administer those funds. And we have funds still available for Yuba, Sutter, Placer, and El Dorado counties. Sacramento, we have allocated 100% of our funds for round 1 and round 2, but we do encourage you to still apply if you would like funding, just in case somebody else falls out, which we had happen last month. Now, Carl Moyer program is what is available for infrastructure, as well as funding for buses. So starting June 3rd through July 31st, SMAQMD is going to be accepting applications for Carl Moyer funding. And this is a part of CAP. It's going to be very streamlined, very much aligned with the way VW funds are working. What I'm suggesting is apply through us. We are here locally. We will hold your hand. I might even be your project manager to help you walk through it. And then if you don't like us or it doesn't work out, go ahead and apply for VW, or actually do both if you'd like. Now for school buses like these, we will be able to match up to or supply up to $400,000 of funding. And there's $65 million available for that. So $400,000 per bus. The Class 8 vehicles, we will be able to fund $200,000 per Class 8 vehicle. We have $29 million available for that. The battery electric vehicles, which I believe this is battery electric, yes? Somebody nod, yes, okay, yes. $180,000 for this vehicle here. We can supply funding for that. We have $65 million available for that. And then, although Lion doesn't supply these vehicles, the fuel cell electric vehicles, transit buses, that'll be a part of that $65 million as well for those applicants. Now, what does this look like for the end user? You go ahead and apply. For Carl Moyer, we do need a scrap vehicle, whereas CCAT, we did not require that as of last August. So for Carl Moyer, you do need a scrap vehicle to trade in. Basically, after July 31st, we'll be reviewing all of the applications. We then inspect the scrap vehicles between August and September. By October, we take the funding approval to our board. And then 10 to 12 weeks after that, now that you have a PO with Lion, you can actually have a vehicle hit the ground. So that's pretty exciting, because in my experience, it usually takes 9 months to a year to get your vehicle. So 10 to 12 weeks, you could be running by January 1st, possibly. The documentation for the Carl Moyer program is we need a scrap vehicle, we need to know what your annual mileage is or your fleet average, the insurance, and there's one other thing here I can't read, but it's very similar to what we're currently, the documentation current to our Moyer program now. Now, infrastructure. If you are at a school district, I do believe that Moyer can cover up to 100% of your costs, and that is installation and the infrastructure for installing chargers. And so that's pretty exciting. Otherwise, if it's not an educational center or I think a hospital, we can cover up to 50% of that infrastructure. And then, of course, you know the Cali VIP, that is also available, which could actually even be a better option right now. But there's lots and lots of incentives so that we can virtually get a lot of these on the ground running. We at SMAQMD apply for lots of grants. We love to partner with different agencies to make sure that we can finally get a foothold here in Northern California. So with that being said, does anyone have any questions?
Were some of those funds that you talked about in addition to HVIP?
Oh, yes. Yes, you can add, yes, HVIP can be combined. Yes, yes, yes.
So you basically can get a vehicle for free in some cases?
Well, I think the closest I've gotten so far is somebody paid $4,000 out of pocket. HVIP does not cover the taxes that you have to pay on the vehicle, but CCAT does. Any other questions? I know, right? I know. It'd be silly not to do this. Okay. All right. Our next speaker is Chris White from Frontier Energy. She's going to be talking about the City of Sacramento's blueprint and the medium and heavy duty component to that. Please welcome Chris.